This is the Arizona I love. So, welcome out. We're going to get this started with This is the Day, and we'd like, if you'd prefer to stand and join in the spirit.
We'd love you to.
Yeah, we'd love you to join in.
And sing with me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Sing that with me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seated, a day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and higher up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working its way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and higher up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Hello. Thank you, Kendra. Did you hear everybody go, woo? It's like we're at a bar or something, having fun. So anyways, good morning, everybody. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Clyde Goins. I'm the assistant minister, and I was out last week, and so I am always glad to be back. And before I get started on my announcements, we have a news flash for you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Reba Strimple. Olive Philpott has the morning off. Filling in this week, we have Elaine Silverspoon.
Good morning, and thank you, Reva. Good morning, and welcome to G for G News.
Just in, today is the last day to sign up to host a Gourmets for God event. It's the most anticipated fundraiser of the year and is reported to be the only fundraiser that you can eat. You can sign up to be a host. It's a lot of work running. You can sign up to be a host by picking up a form in the bookstore and submitting it in person before you leave today. You can also find the electronic version of the form on our website at www.wvcsl.com and email them to the center by 5 p.m. today. I repeat, it will be 5 p.m. today. You can sign up to host as many events as you want. Your donation is the time and expenses for hosting your fun event that involves food. All kinds of events are welcome, and you don't have to cook, but food should be involved. And virtual events are even being accepted. The Gourmet for God's Goddesses at Home's See the Gourmets for God Goddesses at home base after service for more information.
Thank you, for the update, Reba. I'm excited to start bidding on those next week. I can't wait. Seriously, we're going to have fun. Now we go to Peoria, Arizona, where Rosie O'Donut is reporting live from Pancake Pie Eating Contest. Let's get a slice of the action.
Hi, Elaine, Reba. I'm here live at the Packy Pie Eating Contest where contestants have their eyes on the pies and the prize as they show down for a chance to have a date with the Bradford's chickens. Let's take a look at the action.
3, 2, 1, stop! It looks like the winner of this year's Packy Pie Eating Contest, having eaten 17 whole pies in 5 minutes, is John Doe.
Yes! Well, I'm here with John Doe, the winner of the contest. Hi, John. Congratulations on your win. What inspired you to enter the contest today?
Well, I've always wanted to meet the Bradford's chickens, and I love pies.
I love pies, too. And how many pies did you eat to prepare for this contest?
Well, I ate 300 pies in this week alone.
That's a lot of pies, but it looks like your preparation paid off.
Yeah! Go Team Joe! Yeah, all right.
Well, it looks like you've got some fans, John.
Yeah, this is my trainer, Barry Crustable. He's helped me get into shape all week.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm sure it's tough getting ready for one of these things. Well, congratulations, John and Barry. Team Doe for the win here in Peoria, Arizona. This has been Rosie O'Donut reporting live. Back to you, Elaine and Reba.
Thanks, Rosie. That contest looks as easy as pie, doesn't it, Reba?
I don't know, Elaine. I crumble at the thought of eating all that pie so fast. That's all for today, folks. Remember to turn in your event donations and get ready to start bidding next week on the many Gourmet for God events. Who knows? Maybe someone will host a pie night. Thank you, folks, for joining us for this morning's edition of G4G News. This is Reba Strimple.
And this is Eileen Silverspoon.
Signing off. See you next week, and eat well, be well, and live joyfully. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God, is that not wonderful, you guys? That's an incredible, talking about creativity. Yeah. So I'll tell you the food will be, and the fun will be just as fabulous for those Gourmet for God. So, all right, so some quick announcements first is we have the Revealing Wholeness starting this Wednesday, September the 27th at 6:30, and Sue Witter and Kate Fontana will be teaching that 8-week class, and it'll be here at the center. Again, it's at 6:30 in the evening. We have Meet the Minister, which is going to be October the 1st, which is next Sunday. So please join us right after service, or rejoin Reverend Karen right after service for that. And then one last important announcement is October 29th is dress-up day for Halloween. So please wear your best costumes. I want to meet that pie-eating person. So I have one other quick announcement. So again, I was out last week, and what I did last week is I went to the Cedar Ridge Camp Retreat that the CSL has purchased about a year and a half ago, and it's a teenage adult camp, and they also have weddings every weekend. And so I went out there, I volunteered there for a week, and I worked on the property. I did manual labor for a whole week every day. It was really hard work, but it was so beautiful, you guys, the camp. And I had Kendra, we'll leave them up for next week as well, have some of the pictures of the retreat center itself, and it's way out in the middle of the woods, and they have this big, beautiful labyrinth they just built out there last weekend, and so it was just an incredible experience. So they do have You could go out there and stay out there if you schedule time for yourself, if you're ever wanting to take a trip out in that direction. So anyways, more to come on that, but it was an incredible week, and I really enjoyed that time out there in the wilderness and all the manual labor. So, all right, so let's say our vision statement together. We are a loving, joy-filled community honoring the many paths to God as we learn and live the Science of Mind principle. And so it is. So just sit back, relax, just breathe in this beautiful presence and allow yourselves to let the Bradford's music carry you away and Reverend Karen's message touch your heart. Thank you.
So take a deep breath as we go within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
And here in this quiet place, as we come together and fully know and feel that there is one heart, one soul, one mind, one expression of the divine that is peace and joy, love, happiness, harmony, wisdom, clarity, kindness, compassion, and so much more. That is the power that is in charge here in this moment and in every moment. It lives and moves and has its being in, through, and as me, in, through, and as each of us, and in, through, and as everyone, everywhere. I know that this service is already a perfect idea in the mind of God. Therefore, it must unfold in that manner. That Reverend Karen's words are divinely guided, and she expresses them in a way that touches our hearts and opens us and lifts us to new ways of being. The Bradford's music, as always, allows our hearts to soar. And that as we move forward, we do so with a sense of gratitude, excitement, enthusiasm, and expectancy of good, knowing that we each hear exactly what we need to hear and take it away and apply it in life in a new way. So I give thanks for this day, and I know that it is already unfolded with a matter of beauty beyond imagining. And so it is. My reading is from one thing I love about Kindle books is they've combined a whole bunch of smaller books of Ernest Holmes into one offering, and this is called The Essential Collection, from The Essential Collection. I am one with perfect action. Everything that I do, say, or think is quickened into action through this right understanding and this correct knowing. The harmonious action of the great whole operates through me now at all times. I am carried along by this right action and am compelled to do the right thing at the right time. There is nothing in me that can hinder this action from flowing through me. The action of God is the only action. I am still and receptive to life. I let life flow through me into all that I do, say, or think. I shall let my life be what it is, and I will not worry. I now enter into this secret place of the soul where complete quiet reigns supreme and where God talks to me and I receive. The light shines through me and illumines my way, now and always. So allow your heart to just open to that expression of the divine in this moment and everyone. And so it is.
There's a reason for the sunshine and sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shines all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow like the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you know what I mean, it's the season. Just let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you know what I mean, it's the reason. There's a reason for the warm sweet nights, and there's a reason for the candle lights. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you into space and lay you wonder. Its loving embrace, just feel the thunder as it warms your face. You can't hold back. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you know what I mean, it's the season. Just let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you know what I mean, it's the reason. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you know what I mean, it's the reason. Just let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you know what I mean, it's a reason.
Nice. Hey, Rod, would you stay right there a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that new E thing you were doing?
Oh, no, I got it.
Can you do that for us? We want to hear it. He showed me this before service. He just discovered this. All these chords are out there, but oh, yeah. Is that good? Can you feel that? Wow, I totally feel that. Nice discovery, Rod. Thank you. Wow. Wow, that was really fun. Thank you so much. It was really, we didn't plan that. He didn't know I was going to ask that. I was really happy you could get to it so easily. Good morning. Welcome to the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Karen Rice, and I'm letting my love flow and grow today, and I know you are too. I could feel it in the room. That was a gorgeous example of harmonizing, and that's what I want to talk about today. The title of my message this morning is The Great Law of Harmony. And I always think of harmony, the first thing that comes to my mind has to do with music. And I love that when somebody can do that. Like Kathy, I'm wondering, do you have to remind yourself you're just harmonizing? Because I don't have that. I can't feel it. You know, I can't do it. I'm mute that way. You know, I don't have that gift. So do you have to like think and remind yourself you're not, how do you do that? Wow. So when you know your role and when you're in the groove, then things happen the way they should happen in a beautiful way. And that's how music is for me. When I think of the harmony of music, there's a coherence, there's an agreement in sound, in voices, in terms of singing. And that I love that a good barbershop quartet is an amazing experience. I don't find any humor in it. It's beautiful. I mean, I've seen it cute, but my in-laws were both a piece of the quartet. He did male barbershop and she did female, and she also sang. My mother-in-law had a gorgeous voice, and she sang with the Sweet Adelines and traveled, and they were all award-winning. And I'm telling you, when we went to, I was a young woman, and I did not grow up in a musical family, to have that bold of an experience where four voices are harmonizing together, 4 layers. There's texture and depth, and it does something that's very visceral. And I felt that same way when I asked you to do that. It was the same feeling. I wasn't sure it would still be generated in me because now I'm in a different place in mind, right? But when I hear those, that's an amazing thing that a guitar can make that sound just by discovering a new chord. You weren't even looking for that chord? No, I just came out. Wow. So these are gorgeous experiences that are in many ways indescribable because it's an experience that happens in that inner way. There's a resonance within us that echoes some kind of a feeling, and that feeling is divine. That's what happens when we get in the divine current, when we find an agreement and a coherence in our own life to spiritual ideas. So harmony, in terms of a life, the idea of principle, of harmony as a principle, the great law of harmony in our lives. This is a quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes. When that happens, there's something in us that shifts, that makes us more open, more almost vulnerable to that magnificent presence of life itself. And everything shifts and changes. One of my metaphysical dictionaries, from which I looked for a good definition of the law of harmony, said that harmony as a state of mind occurs when we recognize the presence and the power of something that is greater than we are, and at the same time we realize that there are spiritual laws that govern all the movement in the universe. And so anything that it's possible to harmonize with then creates, and this is from the definition, it moves in a mighty rhythm. Life moves. So when you feel that quickening or that awakening, and it was spoken of so well in the reading, Sue, thank you. There's that which in us, something has recognized the power that created all of life, but we have also acknowledged that there are laws that work so that we can tap into that power and use it in a positive way for our own well-being, in our livingness. And therefore there's always hope in our lives, in our situations, and even in the stuff that we see happening in the bigger world. It's about unifying. And in that way that we talk about prayer as that establishing prayer, the essence of prayer itself is an attempt to establish that harmony, or to remember in the way that our consciousness is thinking, so that it ignites that movement, that sense of being resonating with that essence of that which is bigger. So when we harmonize with that God stuff, it changes everything. It alters the way we have our experiences, the way things unfold in our daily lives and in the situations that we find ourselves in. What we notice is that as our lives, as we make a conscious effort to harmonize with that oneness, that one mind, the mind of God, then we are making a shift, an internal, in a very physical way. We're adjusting our own energetic, our own vibration, so that we are moving through life with this divine, sort of like a divine frequency that we have tapped into. And I think that's what prayer is all about. That's what healing is all about. That we remember that all these things are possible. And in our remembering, in our recognition, in our realization of those things, we unify. And those are the first two steps of spiritual mind treatment. And when we are harmonized, everything appears different in our experiences as well. Our food tastes better, right? People seem kinder, and we're more likely to have a greater experience of compassion when we see other people struggling in different areas of their life. So instead of feeling sorry for people, we can have that gorgeous essence of compassion flowing and moving, and that's a healing energy in and of itself. Some people describe this by saying, when you harmonize like that and you feel it and sense it, you are in tune with the infinite. And when I had that thought, the reason I thought of it was because I've had this book forever, and Dr. Ernest Holmes quotes from this book. It was written in 1897 by Ralph Waldo, no, not Emerson, Ralph Waldo Trine, whom I'm guessing was named after Ralph Waldo Emerson. I don't know, that puts their birth pretty close together, I'm thinking, if this was published in 1897. And in the front of this book, written by Trine, In Tune with the Infinite, I just noticed there's this opening statement. Within yourself lies the cause of whatever enters into your life. To come into the full realization of your own awakened interior powers is to be able to condition your life in exact accord with what you would have it be. So there's a great little book you might not have heard of before. So that idea of in tune with the infinite is speaking to the way that we sort of rise to our peak level of performance in the way that we tackle anything that's on our list of what we have to do in a given day. And the reason it works is because we are allowing the truth to shine, the wholeness, the completeness of who we are, the perfection of who we are. We're allowing that to express more fully in our experience, and then things heal more quickly. Life changes color and is more vibrant, and we feel more vital as individuals. When I'm in harmony with my God-given universal nature, I notice that I can tell that because there's a resonance of peace that I don't always feel. I'm a passionate person, and so I get excited about life easily, but man, there's something that comes with that divine harmony when I am in tune with the infinite that has a level of peace, and it creates for me a comfortable certainty, especially around spiritual truths that I allow to guide me through my life. And there's also an easier recognition of joy, even an experience of genuine joy, and laughter comes easily. And so everything sort of shifts as we shift our vibrational, energetic, and the way that we move through our day. When we set an intention to be aligned in that harmonious way, we are consciously pulling our attention away from chaos and discord. And so that desire for peace and serenity and calmness and certainty in our lives will come, but we have to quit looking at everything that is broken, or the things, the way we have judgments around some of the things that we witness in the world or in our families. But I notice that it's like a call. There's like this inner call for us that we really don't like it when we bump into negative people or difficult circumstances. That what it is, it's not that there are problems in life, it's that within us, which is perfect, whole, and complete, is calling to be expressed. And that's why sometimes in our attempt to experience wholeness, our life will reorder itself. Relationships come and go. Finances shift and change. Even in spiritual community, we see that there's a constant incoming and an exiting of individuals that consider themselves a part of community. So that is a real normal part of life. And I would say that that's how we know that there's something in us that craves connection and well-being and goodness and all of that. So to feel one with life, to feel that connection, we have to be congruent or in agreement with our good. You know, as Emma Curtis Hopkins used to say, there's a good for me and I ought to have it. There's a good for me and I ought to have it. That's where we're resonating with. Sometimes we notice it by what's missing. And then we open that space. We get into that place where we're moving without any resistance in that divine current of life. We're moving in that flow of the natural laws of this universe. And then the life energies that support our own well-being will be more apparent, and it will feel easier to access. And I think it's exactly why we have problems in discord, because it refocuses us. It causes us to stop and take a breath and call in a different energetic, but we start from within us, not by rearranging the outer effects of life, but we start with us. And that's why always we begin with courting the presence of God and recognizing and unifying with those spiritual laws that are always working for us. Here's how Dr. Holmes talked about doing battle with the law. And this comes from a great, the Holmes Papers. They're a series of 3 books that are just so good. And I like them because they're lectures that were transcribed, and you can hear his voice in them. And he has humor. When you can get some of those older, you get away from the textbook, you can hear some of the funny ways he addressed the predicaments of life. And in this case, he said, there is a law of cause and effect, and it beats us up when we beat up life. Isn't that funny? I know, I love it. And that's because sometimes we do battle like, I ain't going down that road, and maybe the other road needs too much repair. It's time to start a new avenue, a new path of walking. But then he goes on to say, cause and effect beats us up when we beat up life, when we beat it up. And it will beat the living stuffing out of all of us until we get tired and say we have had enough. Right? So come on. We've all been there. And sometimes we think, oh, if I was just a little more spiritually enlightened, if I just understood this, how to apply this in my life a little better. No. The wisdom starts in that moment when we recognize we've had enough. Or something looks like a situation is going in a certain direction, and we stomp our foot down and we say, hell no, I ain't going down that road. No, I will not tolerate that kind of abuse in my life. No, I do not settle for this as a fixed income. How do we limit ourselves because we get used to suffering, and maybe that suffering then can be used in a positive way for a nice big hell no. We should try one together. Say hell no with me. Hell no! We say no to all that negative stuff we don't want. And in that space of shifting and opening ourselves and beginning to sense the harmony of life, the divine current, we start to shift and change, and we feel something subtle but different that's happening within us because we don't have to go down those old roads anymore. So what's your breaking point? Know what your breaking point is. Know when you've had enough. Life beats us up when we are not acting in accord with the law of harmony. So how much do you personally have to suffer before you make a higher choice? Don't tell me. Just think about it. How much do you have to suffer before life gets your attention? Some of us talk about the spiritual 2x4 whacking you on the side of the head when you haven't heard the earlier messages coming. We don't have to suffer. I received a wonderful quote this week from a friend, from a woman who is new to me. Her name is Ash Alves, and she is a British author and a psychologist, and she said it well. I love these words. You've got to be honest with yourself about how much you participate in your own suffering. Just be honest with yourself. How much do we participate in our own suffering? I often wonder if there was a recorder that was just running in my home and it tracked how many times I tisked or sighed in a day. I would probably be disappointed to see that there are times in life where we just aren't, it's not harsh enough to get our attention, and so instead we do the little, again? Whatever, and we walk through life with all of our little complacencies, and when we've had enough, we can shift that energy and show up and do it differently. I think there are cultures in that it's almost like it's an honor to suffer. I think there are spiritual traditions that sort of subtly nudge us towards suffering and in the name of holiness. And I certainly wouldn't mention any of those religions by name, but I might say, oy vey, mashugana, and all of that stuff that seems to be a little trickier to get over when it's embedded in your culture, in your upbringing. And then I look at other faiths like Buddhism, and we see that Buddhism just, they don't hide nothing. They just say, first statement out, yeah, life suffers. You're going to age, you're going to get sick, you're going to die. They're suffering. Now, what do you want to do with that? right? Don't resist that. How can we, they have a very practical teaching on how we can move through life with less resistance to, because we really do try and cover over some of the hard stuff. Oh, it's not that bad, and like, it's all God, and we play all those games, but sometimes there's a different view, and it's about looking the discordance in the face. Holmes said, look the discordant fact in the face. Don't pretend it isn't there. Look at it so you can turn around. It guides you. It directs you into how you can move instead of staying stuck in the suffering. And even if it's at some point where you have to stomp your foot, say, hell no, I will not suffer anymore, and then you move on from there. Stop wrestling with life. I think one of the breakthroughs for many of us as we mature into our elder years, you might say, there comes a natural evolution or a transition where we begin to see that all those things we've been trying to fix and straighten out for all the other people in our life that don't have quite as much information as we do. They can't see it quite as clearly as we think we see it, and then there comes a point in our growth where we realize, oh, it's not my job to fix all the broken people that I encounter. I think there's a place where I hear people sometimes say when they're taking classes here, like, well, people come to me all the time with their problems. Well, when you heal whatever's in you, you will notice they don't come to you with their problems anymore. But it's because you don't call those problems forward. Instead, we begin to call forward the truth of the well-being potential for all of us. So think about those things. Life has a way of teaching us a lot of new skills, doesn't it? That's a good response. If you didn't hear that online, it was a really good, well, I won't try and do it. I'd spit everywhere, but it was a good one. Life has a way of teaching us. Life has a way of evolving. I was thinking when I was writing the message about a baby learning to walk, I was thinking about babies. Whoa, do I have some news? I don't think anybody here knows. Maybe one person. I got a mysterious text from my oldest granddaughter. She has 2 of my great grandbabies. There are 4 of them all together. She just found out she's pregnant again, and she sent me the ultrasound. And remember, I'm an old midwife. I kept looking at that ultrasound going, what's wrong with that ultrasound? It's 2 babies. We're having twins. Oh, I'm so excited. And it could not be a better couple. They will be so good. They'll have 4 kids then. Twins. We're having twins. I'm so excited. But I was thinking about, and this is probably why I was thinking about a baby's learning to walk, and there's something really odd. Their heads are way too big to hold that little body when they're first learning to do that, so the balance is. But there is something that absolutely must happen at some point. Think about it. They're born and they can't do anything. They can't even roll over. And then suddenly they get a little more vibrant and they start rolling over and they start reaching for things. And the next thing you know, they're pulling themselves up and they want to stand up everywhere they are. And mothers and fathers everywhere and grandmothers worry about them, and because there are so many times they fall down, and so falling down is just a part of learning to walk. And I love that lesson because what do? Again and again and again, they fall down, but they get up. They get up because there's an urge inside of them that insists on being able to get from here to there. And crawling doesn't work anymore. I want to do it faster. And sometimes they skip walking and go right to running. It's so fun to watch them. And so I do think that maybe they learn a little falling and getting up and falling and getting up. They learn a little bit more how to balance themselves and carry their body. So there may be a lesson in balance, but the instinct within them is always about moving forward. They grow, they start thinking, they get curious, and they have an instinct to move, and then they never stand still again. Never stand still again. So life insists on that kind of advancement. there's an irresistible urge on the part of life to demands that forward motion. My sister has a farm in southern Michigan, and they own their property is a big piece of property, and they own a woodland area, and on the other side of the woods is a marsh, and they get turtles every season. That the mothers come up and lay the eggs near their property, near their barn actually, and then later they'll see little individual turtles just like, oh, here I found my way out of the dirt, and walking, and they instinctively know to go in the direction of the marsh where they need to be. So life is like that. There's just this great instinct in life. So if you can't see this is a potato. This is my famous potato that sat on my kitchen table, and it was in a metal basket that has like a filigree design around it. It's up on a pedestal. It's so beautiful. I love my filigree basket. And I put my produce in there. And of course, I forgot about this potato until it started growing through the filigree, trying to escape. If only it had feet. It was working to the light, and I thought, this is so interesting. I thought it was so interesting. I took it to class, to the foundation class, and I took my potato out of the bag, and I said to them, okay, you guys, there's a story. I showed them about the creative process, and I said, this is how life works. Now, talk to me, make up a story. I put them in pairs, and I said, make up a story about this potato that fits with the idea of the creative process, the symbol, our teaching symbol that we have in the stained glass back there, and you see it everywhere. And one group wrote this poem, this story. There once was a potato that lived in a kitchen full of positive energy. Well, thank you for that. It also sees me cry sometimes and complain. This potato loved the energy of this home so much that it stayed hidden for weeks. The energy was so strong that it developed many, many, many eyes to see the possibilities for growth, because it had a 360-degree view of the world. Thank you, foundation class. Well done. They came up with the best ideas for this potato. So yeah, if this potato this potato was trying to get out of that bowl, there's no question. It was looking for a way to have a greater experience of life. And as it turns out, I did a little research, and when potatoes come of age, and given the right environment, which apparently exists on my kitchen table, the potato, when exposed to light, the cells begin to divide, and it forms these buds. And in the favorable growing conditions, the potato experiences what they call breakthrough dormancy. That must mean we eat them when they're dormant. I'm going to guess. Don't know. I love dormant potatoes. I just love potatoes. And here's a fun fact. If you put your produce together, if they're near onions, the gas from the onions accelerates the growth process of the eyes budding and the things starting to grow. Now, you could take this is a pretty large potato, but if you take a normal sized potato, once it's started budding, you can cut it into 4 or 5 pieces, and then you plant it in the soil. I had a friend who said you always plant it so the eyes face up, but I don't think it really matters, because I've watched farmers do it and they don't really care. They just throw the little chunks in there. And each plant, so now you will have 4 to 5 plants from one potato, and each plant will produce 3 to 4 pounds of potatoes. So this guy right here is going to make 20 to 25 pounds of potatoes if he found the dirt. He probably won't find a soil to grow in, though, because I don't have a garden. And I suppose it actually might be potato planting time. Any farmers, can you tell us? Is this the time you want to, or are we putting them in the ground now and they like to be in the ground? It seems to me for some reason that might be true. And this potato is quite soft now. You can tell it even there. Even in that picture, you can see kind of the softness of it. And then, therefore, I'm going to put it back in this box, and should I forget about it, it's not going to smell very good pretty soon. So I'm going to try not to forget about it because I like the box. If instead I took the potato and put it in a compost pile, now, my friends, now we can see the intelligence of nature, that the life force that we can witness in that potato would be transferred into that soil so that it could nurture future life. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. There is a life force with an urge to continue life, to repeat life. So we're different than a potato in many ways. We have arms and legs and hands, and we have thinking minds. And because we have thinking minds, we have words, we have language. And therefore, we can harmonize our words of prayer. We can harmonize with that divine life force that is everywhere present. And we can use our words to create goodness in our lives and on this planet. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, prayer should bring health and happiness. Prayer, what do we pray for? We're always praying for wholeness to be revealed to us, whether it is our ability to have a different perspective on a situation, or it is a shift in the circumstances that carry us to a better place where we have new possibilities, or whatever it might be. Prayer is about health and happiness, our well-being, and the well-being of the planet. Such healing includes the emancipation of the mind from every form of bondage. Gosh, when I hear that statement, what I hear is that prayer is a tool that I use to heal my own mind, the way that I am thinking, so that I can move away from any ideas of lack, any ways in which I have had limited thinking, any ways in which we might bump into some outdated beliefs that we have been carrying around since the beginning, and any forms of suffering that maybe we don't need to be experiencing anymore. So I hear this as a wake-up call. In that, the way he concludes this quote, he says, such healing includes the emancipation of the mind from every form of bondage, because we step into a new concept of God every time we pray. Every time we pray, we have an opportunity to expand our idea of who and what we are praying to and why. And then he says, with a new concept of God, it causes the heart to beat with joy and gladness. And that's our invitation today. Within us, each and every one of us, within us, we have an instinct to harmonize with those most incredible, fundamental, and universal truths. We have a desire to express. It is a call to allow Spirit to move through us. It is an invitation that brings us back into that current of the holy life of this entire universe, so that we can be in tune with the infinite again. And that's what I wanted to say today. So just get comfortable where you're seated. And as we just review in our minds everything that has unfolded since we walked through those doors, or since we turned on our device at home to listen to this service or the recording of this service, and we see that that we have been sweetly carried in this image of divine hands that always holds us, protects us and guides us, carries us sweetly into the newness that we desire. I feel the love of God in this very room, and I sense it as that magnificent presence of love. The activity of life itself within us is the movement of that love. And all creation is born from that impulse of God's sweet love. So we walk this day in this way in which we can embody the ideas that come with this theme of harmonizing with this God essence. That we can recognize yet again there is a way for us to find congruence, to stand aligned to, in tune with the infinite and in agreement with life, so that we are for life, we are for goodness, we are for joy and peace and beauty, and we are against nothing. So we open our minds and our hearts, and we allow the whispers of spiritual ideas that have been seeded within us today. We allow those possibilities to sink from our head to our heart and to plant in such a way that roots begin to take anchor and new growth provides a vision for us to see with great clarity, that we easily conform to these spiritual ideas. We understand the laws that govern the universe, and we unify with them. We become one with this thing called life. And we sense that gorgeous energy of the voices that harmonize in song, in spiritual ideas, in the words of prayer. And so I know that as we have activated something powerful this morning, that there is a healing that is happening. That there are people in this room and at the sound of my voice that have set down their battle. They quit wrestling. We quit wrestling. We open ourselves and we accept that enough is enough. And that there is a healing that desires to be expressed in our very own living. And we embody this truth. We allow it to be the vibrancy of life that lifts us, that allows us to feel the inspiration, that the kiss of life that has brought us to this planet is the very inspiration, the breath of God itself. So I say thank you, life, thank you, Spirit, thank you, infinite life, for all the ways in which we have continued to expand in our own consciousness, in our own minds, these amazing truths. And so this week, we live in grace. We are vessels to receive that good. And we do good works, and we help make the world a better place. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. I release these words into that divine law, knowing it is absolutely fulfilled already. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
All right. Thank you, Bradford. So when Reverend Karen was telling the stomping your feet, hell no, I saw this TikTok video this morning about this pot-bellied pig that jumped over a 1.5-foot crate to get out of the crate and landed on the other side. I didn't know they could jump that high. And that pig was stomping his foot and took off. It was incredible. So anyways, all right, so now is the time to celebrate the abundance of our lives and the abundance of our communities. I just want to remind you that we don't pass around the offering plate. We have our boxes in the back of the room and on the way into Papke Hall and also in the bookstore, so you can drop off your pledge or your tithe in that drop box, and we definitely appreciate all of your gifts. So let's say our giving affirmation together. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Please rise for our last song. To be alive.
All right. I have to tell you guys, when I was out there working on that retreat center, that's exactly how I felt out there in that wilderness. I felt so good to be alive, even though my body was exhausted. But it was beautiful. All right, so let's say our closing affirmation together. Repeat after me. As I harmonize with life, I move through my life in harmony. And so it is.
Amen. Thanks for being here.